Hello ladies and gentlemen, SeKo Starcraft back bringing you one of his amateur BS replays. This one features StimJunkie in the top left versus Omniscient in the bottom right. It's a bit of a longer replay. I'm going to speed it up a bit at the beginning. And generally don't try to get into too many of these longer replays that I cast because they're not as good as the pro ones, but this one left me feeling really good afterwards. And yeah, I'll get into it later, but you guys will know what I'm talking about when the time happens. But until then, it is a TVT of the highest low caliber, Platinum League, Starcraft action. Just, dinking around a little bit on the ladder there, having a little bit of fun. Not playing too many games. I'm starting to discover now that the builds I had in, Gold League and below worked so well at those points, but now there's actually like importance on mechanics and build orders and structures and all that stupid junk that happens. You can see I'm just doing a little bit of scouting. I generally still like to harass working SCVs just because you can sometimes get away with something really funky. Neither of us are getting gas to start with. I'm a little bit ahead on my build just because I built closer to... Excuse me. I didn't really focus on a wall off. And that guy got shot in the face. So it looks as though StimJunkie here has got intentions of going for a faster expansion, which I like. I think that's really, really smart. I'm going to go for a high ground CC. When I go for these low ground CCs, it's too often you run into somebody that's just making, a proxy army or something like. In the lower leagues, it's just, I don't know how to deal with those as well if I'm spreading myself really thin on some sort of economy build. So you can see that I'm going into 2 barracks here. I scouted that he had no gas at that time, so I wasn't too worried about any Reapers coming in or any really early Banshee pressure. And it's interesting that he is getting those gases now. I mean, it's going to cut into his economy a little bit, but now that he's going to have this other command center up, won't be too big of a deal. And I'm just starting my other gas at this moment. Most people know me that I'm more of a mech style player. See, that scan doesn't show me much of anything. I do see just very standard build out of this point here. Lots of barracks, though. 2 harvesters in each gas. Maybe he's got this timed out better than I know. Got the Marines at the front. I didn't see the command center, so it's hard for me to tell at this point if he was going to go for some pressure. I have my bunker at the front, though, so I'm not super worried. I'm making a few more Marines. Next gas. Because I'm a meching player and meching style player, I generally don't like getting a lot of Marines, but they're really cheap in the early game. They're very versatile to deal with any flying units. And sometimes at the beginning you just need that bulk. And if you only have out a couple of Marines and then you go in for tanks or something like that, you can be left very vulnerable to Hellbats or Hellion run-bys. I'm having a IPA from Wild Rose Brewery. It is quite nice. I bought a whole 6-pack of it because I like that flavor so much. Let's look at the actual unit count here. He is a long ways ahead on his workers, even though we both have command centers. And that's mostly because I'm not keeping up with my worker building. I see that he scanned me at this point, so I'm waiting for that scan to disappear, and then I'm moving my command center over. Maybe faking him a bit. And you can see I'm playing super nervous because the game before this, I'd gotten cheesed by some pretty heavy drop stuff, so, well, I don't know if it's cheese. It was just a really fast, fun, aggressive strategy. So I'm pretty set against that. My opponent has a big army, and he's just as worried about things. Lots and lots of bio out. He's probably got enough he might be able to walk across the map and potentially kill me. I am going to be moving into my tank and Hellion production, though. I scan and see this command center, see a few things mining at it, so I know that it's been there for at least a little bit. I have 1 Marine out the front just to let me know if I'm about to get bum rushed. Good chunk of Marines back at home. Speed it up again slightly. And build-wise, I'm still really trying to figure out what my Platinum League opening build is. You can see I really like StimJunkies. He's got actually a really big army count. He's got his upgrades going, his major upgrades. He's got his economy in a good place. And for me, I'm really not there yet. I'm trying hard not to be supply blocked. I'm moving around barracks for extra vision. Missile turrets that don't give me any benefit right now. And I'm finally getting into the composition I want, which is Hellion and tank with my blue flame. To be able to deal with what I was pretty sure was going to be a bio-focused army. So you can tell that he's in a pretty fantastic position all around right now. I think this build's a pretty good one for a lot of people to follow if you like playing Terran Bio. Very smooth. He's keeping his money low. Army in a good size. And for the first time in a while, I feel like I can focus on my opponent's build. The only thing that I can say that I'm doing really good at this point is actually tracking the map with my Hellions, making sure that there's nothing on the watchtowers, nothing funky laying around. That's like the only thing really super positive at this stage that I'm doing. Whereas him, this is very interesting that all of his army's back up in his base. If I was going mech and I started coming down here, you'd see that I'd probably be able to control it pretty well. But with the medevac count and the stim bio that he has, it's really quite tough. Bio units. Stim's done, combat shields, and +1 finished pretty soon. About the same time as my +1, ranged attack is going to be for my mech. I see that he hasn't expanded yet. I've got another command center on the way, so I'm going to be probably taking my expansion just before he does. He's building his as well. Tanks in position, and the next thing I'm really focusing on here, which I thought worked so well in this game because you're really going to love, is this use of just widowmine scouts everywhere. Terran don't walk around for the most part with a Raven just to scout, and even if they were, the widowmine would get its shot off. So moving these widowmines around to all these choke points is actually really, really good for me. It helps me really understand the landscape of everything that's coming at me. If he's going bio, my biggest problem is going to be dealing with his mobility and having a good awareness where his army is. So I'm moving around my widowmines to many different places just to make sure. And you can see that he's gearing up for a pretty big drop right now. Supply-wise, he's ahead by miles, which is, I mean, he's going to be ahead because he's playing bio. But at the same time, I'm still on 2 factory production, just the 3rd going down. And I got to keep up with my upgrades here pretty soon. I'm going to see the effectiveness of the widowmine. Now, I mean, he's got himself... This is such a... I'm going to pause for a second. This is how sick this build is from this guy. I mean, it's unfortunate most of his army got hit. He's going to have 1 prong drop to the top to take on my 3rd. A prong going into main that's going to pull back most of my army. And then he's going to try and bust in the front door. So this is actually a really, really slick attack that he's doing right now. Unfortunately for him, I play quite noobish, so he is going to be able to get quite a bit of damage in. Looks like he wants to stim up to the front, but I've got my tanks there. And he's going to be able to take out this command center. I'm not even noticing that that happened. So he lost a lot of army, but he did deny one of my expansions. And I would like to take out these rocks so I can get down there. But I know that I'm sandwiched on 2 sides here. I did keep this command center alive. So I just want to make sure that I'm not in a position to get really caught off guard. I am blocking his base over here. I'm sure he's aware of that. Widowmine's still in good spot. He sniped a couple of them. And I did clean up that little bit of an army. So overall... was a pretty good hold for me considering how good of an attack I think that guy had there. I just managed to really overcommit on defenses, and that kept me in there. Does take out that widowmine. I believe, yeah, he did lose 1 medevac actually there from this widowmine on the top. I don't know how many marines were in that, but once again, we're seeing those widowmines paying off quite well at this point. Moving around a few more. I know that that base got sniped, so I'm putting down that command center. It completely didn't dawn on me that I lost the command center in the first place, so I actually expect to have a 4th CC somewhere, and I don't. And then finally starting to get up a bit more macro, but I did notice the SCV was killed that was building that structure. So, supply-wise, they're trying to push my way along, get back up into there a little bit, getting supply blocked again, because that's what I do best. And StimJunkie's strategy is very straightforward. Build up a huge ball of stuff, and then just go and smash into my opponent, and hopefully that'll work out. He's actually going to mix in some tanks this time. He has the watchtowers. You see, I scouted that with that widowmine, and pretty good damage. We will clean that up. This widowmine I don't think is going to get here in time. Oh, it did not. And it didn't even burrow. What a loser. Okay, so I know he's coming in here. I back my army further away because I want him to drop. I want to stomp this drop here. But he scans before he comes in. So I know his next move is going to be to attack and drop on top of my army while he pushes in the front. This is actually a really big amount of army from him here, but his medevacs are pretty beaten up. You see my armies moving back towards the front again. Now he's going to kill that command center without too much worry. I do want to take on this army. It's pretty well upgraded though. 2-2. And 1. Oh, he's going to get away too. What a lucky SCV. Maybe not. Maybe not that lucky. Oh, here we go. God, that's so good. I'm in a terrible position right now though. I've got just only this is my 3rd command center right now, just finally going down. He's got himself essentially, well, I got another widowmine block, but he's essentially mining healthily off 3 bases. So I am going to go for a bit of a push. I know I'm in a tough spot, so I want to buy myself some time. I'm getting down a couple of starports here so that I can go for drops if I need to. So he's still got a pretty good sized army going on over here. What I want to do is try to get over here to shut down this base. The difficulty for me is I don't have any Vikings in this army, and I realize that, and that's why I've got that starport out, is I know I need Vikings to deny his medevac drops. So regardless, this will buy me some time. His tanks are in good position up top. I got my army really out of position. I mean, it's going to put in quite a bit of work onto that bio, but I lost a lot of units. Bad concave for me. That cost me quite a bit. Now, this is pretty much a point where you could GG at. That I am so far behind right now. I'm unbelievably far behind. Behind on upgrades, behind on economy, behind on army. So I'm doing pretty bad. Generally, I even got units stuck back here because my building placement's so bad. Widowmines, just to be able to deny any of those pieces. This Widowmine's been a hero. Only 4 kills, but it's been very, very important this whole time. Should be having more Widowmines back on the map. You can see I'm making a few more back at home right now just to deal with that. He's essentially maxed out. So he just wants to lean on me now. He knows I'm far behind. He knows my economy is worse. And he knows I just threw away a ton of my mech army, which is very, very difficult and expensive to replace. So he scans me up. He sees what's going on. I'm going to spread out my Widowmines, try to get them in position. And he's just going to bum rush the front here. There's the GG. There's that thing, right? This is the point where you get mad. Was when you get that piece come through. Now, happily for me, most of his army is extremely badly injured. That was a very important Widowmine hit right there. Look at all that death and carnage. Medevacs are out of energy. We'll save the command center, and I am mining over here now. So I might be at half a supply. You know, it might not be doing that awesome. He unsieged at the wrong time, essentially. His tanks have no upgrades, so they will get busted through really fast. But he's got more army rallying. He's going to keep the pressure up. Mules for the win. This guy's still burning. SCV is going to go over there to deal with that. Army in production. I had my army rallied from all my production to the top of the ramp once I started losing ground. Guess he just wanted to walk a few people in to test. Just test the waters a little bit. So I'm in good position. Tanks will be there to put in some good shots. He could run by and probably still snipe this command center. I can lift it though. It is an orbital. And I made it purposely an orbital because, yeah, it wasn't worth the resources for me to put it into being a planetary. I'm out of beer. I'm going to require more beer. Producing lots of SCVs again. Units-wise, what the? 102 SCVs? I hope he's going to send some to their death here soon, but I don't remember that. That makes his army extremely weak, actually. Well, it's still about 100 supply, but 102? I'm just at 47 workers, and I actually was pretty proud of myself. And it's time for Shawnee's infamous medevac double harass drops. There we go. The infamous SeKo Starcraft Hellbat drops. I see him coming in here. This is a pretty big army once again. But I have my widowmines. I got tanks in good position. And he's going to get cleaned up hardcore. Widowmine did a little bit of damage to myself, but I did shoot down the only medevac he had with units in it. Ah, yes. And he doesn't have that huge of a bank, but it's pretty decent in the grand scheme of things. Maybe he needs more production. He's got quite a bit of production facilities. But this is his next plan. It's time for battlecruisers. 12 kills, 17 kills. Oh yeah, I snuck a widowmine up here a while ago, by the way. Just saying. $34. Oh, one more shot would have been sick. Nice, hey? It's nice. Get shot in the face. Get punched in the mouth, son. Punch in the mouth. I just tried to take a swig of an empty beer bottle. That's okay. That's just how cool I am at this moment. So, he just lost all of his economy. He lost... Well, I didn't lose all of his economy. He still got 35 workers? I killed 85 workers in that one double drop. That is the effectiveness of the SeKo Hellbat drops. I also had that one widowmine in there with like 25 kills. Sometimes you just get away with that. That's why you're never really out of a game, particularly as Terran. Go for those Hellbat drops, sneak a widowmine into the mineral line there. You don't know. Sometimes that stuff pays off. He's actually going to get Yamato Cannon, but he's got no money right now. He's got gas, but it's 400 minerals per battlecruiser. He's going to try and support 5 starport battlecruiser production. So supply is pretty low now. I'm actually working up towards my max. Going to go for another drop. Widowmine spread out nicely. And I'm just turtling, right? I've been behind this whole game. I don't know how far behind I still am. I know he didn't go for these other bases because I scanned a little while ago. But we're at that stage that I think I saw that this production was going on. Yeah, I saw that he was going into battlecruisers. If someone's going to battlecruisers, that usually means that they've got a ton of money. Now, alright, so he's got a drop. He wants to get back in the game. Does this look like the thing to go into with your medevacs right now? We're going to see how this turns out for this guy. So he loses all the medevacs. This is a pretty expensive Marauder army for him. He can't really afford to remake all this stuff. And battlecruisers. He is making 3. I mean, that is something. But that gets cleaned up, and now I've got a huge supply lead. Oh, how many more workers did I just killed? I only killed about 7 or so. Oh, I wish I would have known they were there. I didn't at the time. Maybe he doesn't know that my medevac's going right through the middle of his base right now. I must. Let's save one of them there. Hellbats. So units wise, well, he made a few more SCVs again. He's up to about 40. How many am I at? 64. That's pretty decent. You should be pretty proud of that. But I know that he's going into battlecruisers, so I'm going to go push out because I actually can't afford to make any anti-air right now. So I know I might lose a lot of this army if he's got like 4 battlecruisers out. But I'm going to go into mass starports. I can actually afford stuff now. I see that he's only got 3, which is still a fair bit. I am going to change my Thors over into a happy shoot them in the face mode. Once again, I'm okay to trade some of my army just because I can't afford much otherwise. I do have the air upgrade weapons for my Vikings, which he doesn't have any of his mech upgrades. So Thors will actually do pretty good against battle cruisers when they have all these upgrades in place. This is about where I'm starting to get really cocky, and I know that I'm in a great position. Dropping Hellbat once again. 18 kill, Captain. I'm feeling pretty salty at this moment right now. How about a GG? You like a GG? GG sounds about right now. I like a GG. More Vikings on the way over, because now I've got 6 Viking production at a time. I actually think he's still got a lot of money at this moment. Toasted. Toasted! That was a fun game. It wasn't that good. I mean, we're both pretty shitty players. But when somebody gives you the preemptive GG, the BM, the bad manner GG, you gotta stick it out and find a way to win. And I hope that StimJunkie feels sad about this. I don't want him to hurt himself or anything like that, but I want him to, like, you know, close down Starcraft, maybe go run a bath, have a glass of wine, and then just kind of rethink who he's going to be in life. Because this is one of those events that should really get you thinking about, you know, maybe I need to be a nice person. Maybe, you know, if I want to play StarCraft, I'm going to have to do it in a better way. That's the future I hope for. SeKo StarCraft, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys later.